Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Saturday evening session where we are going to go deeper into one of the hypothesis testing, very interesting subject today, which is called as chi-square test. Now, a lot of people pronounce it's chi-square test or chi-square test. So it is the actual pronunciation of that is chi-square test, CHI. Okay, chi-square test. So what is chi-square? How it is calculated? How practically that will be implemented? All these things we are going to cover today. Okay, so is my voice loud and clear to you? Just give me yes in the chat box, and let's begin this topic. Yes, bring your whenever you are attending the live session, make sure that you, if possible, okay, if you're not traveling, okay, please attend it with your mobile phone, okay, and with sorry, not mobile phone, with your laptop on, and if possible is with your mini tab. Okay, तो वो एक बार करिए. Super. चलिए. Good. Voice is good to go. Just give me confirmation. Recording is on, right? Very good. Super. So today's topic, let me just quickly touch upon the basic fundamentals of it. And then we will discuss a little bit of, see how we basically go in this is in the Monday sessions, basically we cover the green belt stuff, and Saturdays are a little advanced topic generally we cover. Okay, so today's topic is chi-square test. Now, when I say test, all right, I mean, which test is this, by the way? Anybody in the room? When I say test, what kind of test is this? Anybody can do the guesswork, or the people who are aware about it, maybe you can give me the answer directly straight to this. When I say test, what do you mean by this test? Type in the chat box. You can give the wrong answers, okay? Everybody, I'm not telling anything. Very good. Normally test, yes. There is normally test also, right? Okay. Or to get some output, okay? No. So the right answer is, it is not the normality test. It is basically a hypothesis test, okay? So today's topic is all about hypothesis test. So chi-square test is one of the hypothesis tests, which I'll be covering the basic fundamental, okay? So what is hypothesis, and which phase do we use in this? In this DMAIC framework, DMAIC, which phase do we use hypothesis testing? Everybody, type in the chat box. Which phase do we use hypothesis testing? Measure phase, analyze, measure. Okay. So there is a confusion between analyze and measure phase. The answer to that is we do hypothesis testing. Okay. What is the right answer? See, majorly we do hypothesis testing in analyze phase, but there is one hypothesis testing we do in measure phase as well. One. And that is nothing but normality testing. Anderson-Darling normality test is also a hypothesis test, which is only one test we do in the measure phase. But rather than that, apart from that, all the other hypothesis testings are basically covered in analyze phase. Everybody make sure the answer is analyze phase. Measure phase is only one test we do, which is the test of normality. Everybody clear with this? So analyze phase is the phase where we do hypothesis testing. Clear? Just give me yes in the chat box. Just give me yes or clear in the chat box. Okay, make a note of this. Now, when I say analyze phase, what are the major tools in the analysis phase? First we do, so I'm talking about analyze phase, right? So first we do fishbone, correct? Then we do YY analysis or root cause analysis. And after we do root cause analysis, so at the end of the root cause analysis, we get root causes. Now these root causes are still need to be validated with the data. Okay. Example, according to me, let's say, according to me, I say that more the experience, less is the defect. So we should hire more experienced people for this job. This is my hypothesis. What did I say? More the experience of the people, less will be the defect. That is my hypothesis. That is my assumption. That assumption has to be validated with the data, and that is called as hypothesis testing. Are you understanding? Our cold drink sale goes up in the summer season. It goes down in the winter season. That is my hypothesis. That is still validated with the data. So once we do the root cause analysis, then all those root causes have to be validated with the data, and this data validation is called hypothesis testing. So the sequence is this: first fishbone, then root cause analysis, followed by hypothesis testing. In the hypothesis testing, what we do? We collect the data, we put the data in the software, and then software calculates the p-value, and on that basis, we check whether this is statistically significant or not. Are you clear? The sequence, we are talking about analyze phase, fishbone, RCA, followed by hypothesis testing. Just give me yes in the chat box if the sequence is clear. Sequence clear hai? Just give me yes. Everybody, fundamentals should be very clear. Even though you are new in the system, okay, you have just been through the yellow belt, etc., and you have just started your green belt journey, just understand the basic flow. You know the fishbone, you know the root cause analysis. Now, what additional thing I'm adding is hypothesis test. All right. Now, so it's very simple. See, don't, what do you say? The nomenclature of this will be a little different, but the fundamental should be very clear. Hypothesis meaning assumption. Before it is validated, it is my assumption. Once it is validated, then I can say that, yes, it is a tested hypothesis. It is confirmed tested hypothesis. Okay. So as I gave you a couple of examples like experience and the defects, and the cold drink sale and the season. So these are my assumptions which needs to be validated. Now coming back to hypothesizing, some fundamentals, let me clarify. Okay. Now, hypothesis meaning statement of assumption, which I said just. Hypothesis is nothing but statement of assumption, because we assume certain thing, and then that needs to be what you can say, confirmed, that needs to be tested with the help of data. Okay. So there are two types of hypothesis basically. One is called as null hypothesis, which is denoted by HO, okay, which is called as statement of equality. Make a note of this. I'll just give you one example before we go to chi-square test. And other is called alternate hypothesis, which is nothing but denoted by HA. It is called as statement of difference. Just make a note of this, difference, okay? It's being used to investigate the deviation or manufacturing. Can hypothesis testing is also applicable identified root causes? No. Hypothesis testing comes after the root cause analysis. Anujji, okay? So once fishbone is done, fishbone, what fishbone will give us? Fishbone will give us the primary causes. What RCA will give us? RCA will give us the root cause analysis. Okay. So after we find out the RCA, the root causes, then those root causes have to be validated with the data. And that's where hypothesis will come into picture. Okay. It will not help us to identify. It will help us to validate the root causes. Once it is confirmed with the data, then we can say that, yes, this is the right root cause so that we can find out the solution. Once the root causes are validated, then only we identify the solutions over it. Okay. If they are not validated, then they are dropped. Clear, everybody? If it is not validated, it is dropped. If it is validated, then we can find out the solution going ahead. Are you clear with this? Just give me yes in the chat box, everybody. Clear? Just to give the answer to Anuj's question. Everybody clear with the flow?
Yeah, one thing, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, how many data points minimum required for hypothesis testing?
It depends on if you have less number of data points, also you can do the hypothesis. For example, if you have, let's say, 20 data points, you can go for t-test kind of a thing. Okay. So there are various types of hypothesis, and requirement is what you can say. Requirement is different to different types of hypothesis. I'll give you a table for that. Okay. And generally, see, statistics, the thumb rule is go for more data. Minimum 30 data points is what will give us the normal distribution. Okay. So if you have less than that, then still we have the options of t-test, which we do, one sample t-test, two sample t-test, which is already a part of the green belt session. Okay. Then we have paired t-test. Then we have ANOVA. All these things are used, in when you have lesser number of data points as well, you can use this. All right. As expert opinion, research, alternate hypothesis, also known as expert opinion. See, so this is expert. I won't say expert opinion. Okay, one is the equality statement, and other is statement of difference. See, actually, we are checking the statement of difference. Okay, actually, what we are doing is actually checking the statement of difference. That is the main point. Okay, just a second. Okay, so what basically is we are checking here. Yes, क्यों आ रहा है? Okay, let me just rewrite it again. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. So what we are talking about here is when we have the null hypothesis, okay, and the second one is alternate hypothesis. So let me open my let me just rewrite it once again. There was some glitch. So null basically means the statement of equality, as I said. Okay, HO, statement of equality. I'll give you examples so that you'll easily understand it. Okay, equality, and alternate, which says statement of difference. This is just a basic fundamental hypothesis I'm talking about. Okay. Now, statement of difference. Okay. For example, let me give you example, which I always give. One of the example which I always give. Now there is a test match, India versus England going on. Okay. Now Ajit Agarkar and Gautam Gambhir has one what you can say, decision to be made. He has two options. One is Rishabh Pant and second is KL Rahul. Okay, now two players they have, and they want to select only one as a wicketkeeper batsman for the team. Okay, I'm just giving you a hypothetical situation. Now, so one is Rishabh Pant. So we will write Pant, let's say. So I will take the average of punts score, and then I will take average of Rahul's. Okay. So last 20 innings or 25 innings average I will take. So the null hypothesis says both averages are equal. That is my null hypothesis. Okay. So that is my null hypothesis. Then what will be alternate hypothesis? Average of Rishabh Pant and average of Rahul. Okay. There is a difference. If there is a statistical significant difference between these two averages, that means we can confirm that there is a statistical difference. So whichever average is less, we can eliminate that player, and whose average is better, that player can be taken up. Are you clear? This very simple average. So we'll take the last 25 innings of the test match. We'll take the take the average of 1 and average of 2, and then we will perform. It is called as two sample t-test. Now what happens is the software. So what we do here, we collect the data, we put the data in the Minitab software, and Minitab software will give us the p-value. Okay. Understand this, if p-value is lower than 0.05, make a note of this, then we reject null hypothesis. What is that? If the p-value is lower than 0.05, we reject the null hypothesis. So how do we remember this? We remember through a simple rhyme called P low null go. Everybody write this down. Okay. I repeat once again. Null hypothesis says statement of equality. Null will say both average, Rishabh Pant average and KL Rahul's average, batting average, are absolutely equal. Okay. Alternate will say that no, there is a difference in the average of Rishabh Pant and KL Rahul. That is the alternate hypothesis. So we will collect 25 data of Rishabh Pant, 25 innings data of KL Rahul, put it in the software, and software will give us the p-value. Now, if the p-value is lower than 0.05, we will reject null. Reject null meaning we will accept that there is a statistically significant difference between these two averages. Okay, batting averages. Now, if that is, that is the case, when there is a difference, then whoever average is better, we will select him in the cricket team. Are you clear? Everybody clear with this example of Rahul and Rishabh Pant? Just give me yes in the chat box. Are you clear with this? I'm just giving you a basic fundamental knowledge of hypothesis testing. Okay. Now I'm going to go for clear hai? So P low null go. This much you need to remember, because we have all the things done with the software right now. We don't have to do it manually nowadays. Okay.
Sir, good evening.
Yeah. Hello.
Okay. So, sir, P low null go. This is for a null hypothesis. और अगर alternate का रहेगा तो उसका कुछ logic है, मतलब कुछ उसका कुछ.
If the p-value is greater than 0.05, that means you cannot reject null hypothesis. You accept null hypothesis. Simple, right? See, that means, let's say, for example, in this case, imagine p-value is 0.02. Okay. If the p-value comes 0.0, that means what? P-value is lower than 0.05, correct? In that case, we will null go, meaning we'll reject the null hypothesis. What is null hypothesis? This one, right? Meaning XP bar, which is Rishabh Pant's average, is equal to XR bar, which is Rahul's average. So both are same. That we are rejecting. So this is what we are rejecting, and we are accepting this one. Null go meaning what? We are rejecting this hypothesis. Okay. And if, let's say, the p-value, the second option is the p-value is 0.755 or 75. That means it is greater than 0.05. In that case, we cannot reject null hypothesis. Okay, so when p is high, so you can remember another rhyme: p high, null apply, or some people say null fly. Okay, so you can remember that way also. But just to reduce the confusion, just remember this one rhyme. That will be good enough. Clear? P low null go. Clear hai? Everybody just give me yes in the chat box. Yes, so एक ही rhyming use रखिए, याद रखिए, P low null go. That's it. P value is lower than 0.05, then we are rejecting them. Now, what is p-value? What is, what is null? What you can say, how it is calculated, everything. We have some separate sessions to do that. Okay. We cover that in great details with the help of, with the help of our, what you can say, in the Black Belt Hackathon as well. Okay. We'll go deeper how manually p-value is calculated. And, that is available in Masterclass Archive. If you are interested, please check out Masterclass Archive as well. Okay. Yes. So now the question here is, see the averages difference check karne ke liye, if I check the average of one, for example, let's say this is a fundamental question, you would be asking this. If the average of Rishabh Pant, let's say, is 45.5, okay, and average of KL Rahul, imagine it is 48. Okay, this is the average of one player and average of second player. If it is very simple, now why are we doing hypothesis testing? How many of you have this question? Just type yes in the chat box. This is simple mathematics. No, it's average of this is greater than average of this. Then why are we basically doing this? How many of you have this question in your mind? Just give me yes in the chat box. Yes, now I have this doubt. Agar average simple samne hi hai, so why are we doing hypothesis testing? Why we should do it in the Minitab? Right? We can do it in simple Excel, right? Why we should check the p-value? P-value ki kya zarurat hai? How many of you have this? Just give me yes in the chat box. That's very good. That's very good. Now, here we need to go back to sample and the population theory. What is that? Sample and the population theory. See, hypothesis testing, we are basically predicting the behavior of the future of the population for the consistency. That's what Anuj has rightly mentioned. Okay. So with this sample of 20 innings, can we expect the similar kind of consistency? Is the difference of this 0. or 2.5 runs ka average ka difference, is it significant? If it is significant, then we can say that yes, then Rahul is better. If the difference is insignificant, let's say for example, it is 47.5 and 48, it may not be significant. So let's say 47.8. So let's say Pant's average is 47.8 and Rahul's average is 48. And the difference is there, but at a very insignificant difference. Okay. So is this difference significant or insignificant statistically? That means as far as consistency, as far as the futuristic behavior of this model is concerned, that is where the p-value comes into picture. P stands for probability. P stands for probability. That's what we are checking. See, mathematically, there is a difference. But is it statistically significant difference? That is what we are showing. That's what we say, that there is a statistically significant difference between two. We say statistically significant. So we are checking the probability of the difference, whether it is significant or not. Are you clear? Everybody just type yes in the chat box. So our role is collect the data, put it in the software, check the p-value, and according to the p-value, you can infer the behavior, the futuristic behavior of the process. Okay? Past behavior to mathematically samajh mein aayega. That is called descriptive statistics. Okay? So in the green belt level also, we study descriptive and inferential. So this, the average value, the mean value is the descriptive statistics, जो कि sample से calculate करते हैं. But the p-value is inferential statistics. We are predicting the behavior of this. Okay? Yes? Yes, Dr. Gupta, you can check the recording later. Please go ahead. Level of significance 0.5%. Yes. So level of significance is 5%. And that's where the P, so what is p-value? P-value is attained significance level. Okay. So I'm not going deeper into the technical aspect. I just want to make it simple so that I can cover more into chi-square test. Haji, boliye. Somebody asked me.
There is a, yeah, am I
Arvind.
audible?
Yes,
Good
yes,
evening,
yes.
sir. There is a, I just want to check if the test for equal variance is, always be using while doing the two sample T, or it's not mandatory step.
Test of equal variance, is it?
Yes.
Okay, let me just take you to a table, and which anyways I'm going to explain. Okay, so let me just quickly touch to that table first, which will answer your question as well as which will answer our today's topic. Okay, now let me just quickly share my screen just to answer this. So first we need to understand what are the different types of hypothesis tests available. Okay, now just have a look at this, everybody. So now look at this. There are three major types of hypothesis tests you will come to know, and which are covered in our green belt and the black belt level both. The first one is called the hypothesis testing for the mean, for the averages. Like example which I give you, which is average of Rishabh Pant and average of KL Rahul. It is the average of mean. That's what it's called as two sample t-test. When I'm comparing two samples with each other, that is called two sample t-test. Okay. So there is one sample t-test, two sample t-test, pair t-test, ANOVA. All this, tests basically are checking the means with each other. Averages of one sample with the another sample. So they're checking the averages. That is the first way of hypothesis testing. Second is the variability. Now, what is variability? When you see the distribution, one is the average of the data. If I want to compare average of one data with the average of another data, that is called the comparison between the means. Now, the second comparison happens with the variability. Variability meaning the spread of the data. If I want to check the spread of the data of one sample with the spread of the data with another sample, that is called the variability. Are you understanding this? Mean and the variability ka difference? Just give me yes in the chat box, everybody. Have you understood? If I want to compare mean of one sample with mean of another sample, that's where these four categories come into picture. One sample, two sample, paired, and ANOVA. Okay. When I want to compare variability, okay, variability kaise calculate karte hai? We have, we have range, variance, standard deviation. Remember? So I repeat again, just have a look at it. Okay. Now, whenever we check the data, this is, let's say, distribution. So we have a central tendency, which is the mean of the data. Mean, which is the central. Where is the average of the data? So this line basically denotes the average. Okay. Along with the average is the spread of the data as well. Yes, spread meaning how far the data is distributed. What is the lowest value? What is the highest value? If the data is not spreaded much, then you will have a thinner distribution like this. If you have lot of variation, the data distribution will be like this. Clear? Now, the point is that if you want to check the average of one sample with the average of another sample, that's where these four tests come into picture. Clear yahan tak? Okay, I'm not going into the details of each and every test, but just when you're comparing the means to mean, then you have this four test. Okay. Now, if you want to, let's say, for example, if there is no difference between Rishabh Pant and KL Rahul, then those selectors will go for the variability of the data. They will calculate the standard deviation of Rishabh Pant and standard deviation of KL Rahul, and that's where it is actually testing the variability. Okay, so here this is F ratio test or test of equal variance. So if you are comparing two samples, it is called F ratio test. If you are comparing three or more samples, that is called test of equal variance. So I think Harris, I think you have asked this question, right? Test of equal variance. So when you are comparing the variability of one sample with another sample, then you go for F ratio test or test of equal variance. Okay, that is just to add this. And today's topic, what we are going to talk about is the test of proportion. In some cases, there are proportions. For example, let's say how many calls, let's say in a BPO, we are getting, let's say 100 calls in a shift, example I'm giving, out of which how many calls are defective or not resolving the query of the customer. Let's say 8 calls out of 100. Okay, so let's say shift A has 8 rejection out of 100. Shift B has got 10 rejections out of 100. So is there any statistical significant difference between proportion of A and proportion of B? That is called as test of 2 proportion. Now, if you have more than 2, then we go for chi-square test. When you want to compare the proportions, and chi-square test specifically used when your factor and the impact X and Y both are discrete data. I'll give you example. But are you clear with what are the 3 major different types of hypothesis testing which are used? So today we are talking about proportion test, in which we are talking about chi-square test. Clear? Just give me yes in the chat box. Clear hai everybody? Fundamental at least? Yes. So we are covering here, when do we use chi-square test? So I'll give you one example in which you can take that example, understand how the chi-square tests are performed, and then we will discuss where practically it is basically used. Okay. So I'll give you a couple of examples here. Before that, I can share with you a couple of files, okay, which can be used for our, just a second, which can be used for our analysis purpose, okay. Yes, so let me first provide you a file of this. Everybody, can you just open this file, which I'm just putting in the chat, where there is the gender data we have and activity data we have. Okay, I'll explain you. First, you open this file. It's a Minitab file if you already have. Yes, so I'll give you a couple of examples so that you can compare that. Okay. Okay, once you open it, let me know in the chat that you have opened that. So first, I'll give you a couple of examples, then we will go how practically it is calculated manually as well. Okay. So in the first column, there is a gender, male, female, etc. And in the second column, there is activity. Okay. Some 90 data points are there. Now, what they have done is, let's say, it can be, it can be a study which was conducted in the preschool nursery. Okay. A preschool. Now, in the preschool, there are, male students, boys and girls, right? So they've written male and female. So boys and girls, you can see. Now they just want to check. Now there are few, few students who are a slight active. So there are 3 categories they have taken. Slight meaning the low activity. Slight meaning the low. Then second meaning moderately active. Okay. And third meaning a lot. That means very high. So in the classroom, they categorized, okay, out of all the, all the preschool students, there are 90 students they have. So they categorize they observe that student's behavior in the class. Okay. And they gave these 3 categories, whether the student is a low active meaning not बहुत ज़्यादा मस्ती नहीं करने वाला बंदा, moderate meaning okay, थोड़ा moderately active, and बहुत ज़्यादा naughty boy, okay, naughty boy, naughty girl, whatever, right? So slight, moderate, and a lot active. So that now they want to check, is any gender impacting on the the activity level? Okay, boys and girls, what is the difference? Is the gender playing a role? in the activity is this is something which they want to basically find out. Are you clear? Background clear ho gaya? Just give me yes in the chat box, everybody. Just give me yes. Okay. Now here, when do we use this? When do we use this? Now here, the output is activity. Output Y is activity. So we call output as Y. Everybody knows now Y is equal to function of X. Y is equal to function of X. Everybody knows, right? So where Y is our output and X is our input, correct? So here our activity is our output. And we want to see that our factor, which is gender, is it adding any, is it impacting our activity? So both, if you observe very closely, both are discrete data. Everybody with me? Everybody remember what is discrete and continuous data? What is continuous data? What is continuous data and what is discrete data? Continuous data meaning which can be measured. Make a note of this, the new members. For example, yes, measurable data like height, weight, length, pressure, temperature, speed. All these are continuous data which can be measured. And what is discrete data? Which can be counted. Which can be counted, which cannot be measured. And continuous data basically can be shown in the decimals as well. Discrete data, how many students, pass, fail, male, female, go, no go. Okay, or activity like low, high, moderate, all these are called discrete data. Clear? So when, understand this, when do we use chi-square test? Whenever X and Y both are discrete in nature. Both are discrete in nature, that is called as, when then we use chi-square test. So in this case, gender also is discrete and activity is also, low, moderate and high. So these are three activities category. So all this, two X and Y both are in discrete. That's why we are selecting the, what we are selecting is basically a chi-square test. So how do we use this? Just go to, first we'll do it. I'll show you one example. Then I'll show you how it is calculated as well. Okay. Now just click on stat. So all the hypotheses we use for discrete data, for if your X is discrete, Y is discrete, and you want to compare between, the proportions between these, then you go for the chi-square test. Okay. Now, how do we do that? Go to stat, tables, cross tabulation, and chi-square. Everybody just follow this path with me. Stat, tables, cross tabulation, chi-square. See, actually, the fundamental remains very same. Collect the data, feed that data in the Minitab. Minitab will give us the p-value. That's it. That is the fundamental of hypothesis, whichever hypothesis you do. Okay. Now, just do this. Stat, tables, cross tabulation, and a chi-square. Just click on that. Okay, I'll just share once again. Hope you have the laptop right now with you. Okay, if you have the laptop with Minitab software, then only it will open. Okay, otherwise it will not open. So I'll just given it twice once again. Just check out. chi-square. Okay. हाँ, मोबाइल में नहीं होगा ये. Mobile will not support this file. You require this one. Okay. Suma, if you see the new guys, especially if you don't have Minitab right now with you, okay, just send a message on our mentor number. Why it is not supporting? Because the Minitab software which is there may be of a different version. Okay. So just whatever doubt you have now, whatever challenge you have, just send a screenshot on that WhatsApp number, a mentor's WhatsApp number, and we will resolve it. Okay, clear? Now, if your Minitab is not supporting, just observe what we are doing, and then you can check out later and follow that. Okay. Now, everybody open this. Very good. Now, go to rows, select gender. Go to column, select activity. Everybody just follow this. Go to rows, select gender. Go to column, select activity. Done. Then display में by default count पे click है ही already. Just click on this chi-square tab as well. Chi-square tab. Click on chi-square tab. Select check this box chi-square test and check the first one, statistics to display each cell, which is expected cell count. You can just select that as well. I will do that once again. Okay. Say okay and say okay. And you will find out this Pearson chi-square value, the p value, it is 0.288. Now, I repeat once again, go to stat, tables, cross tabulation and chi-square. Just follow this. Stat, table, cross tabulation and chi-square. Okay, just click on that. Select gender in the row, select activity in the column. Okay, then go to chi-square. Just click on chi-square test. Just to check the box chi-square test and statistics display में expected cell count. Click on OK and click on OK. Once you do that, in this, you will find the test here. Everybody got it? Just type yes in the chat box. What is our, what is our most important is the Pearson chi-square value, which shows that 0.288. So here, what is basically important is 0.288. So P value is 0.288. Okay. So what is the null hypothesis here? In this case, null hypothesis is, that gender doesn't impact the activity. Okay. And alternate says gender creates difference in the activity. Now, whenever P value is 0.288, so P is not low here. So we cannot reject null hypothesis. So we have to accept null hypothesis, which says gender does not have any impact on the activity. That means, चाहे वो लड़का हो या लड़की, male or female, does not have impact on the activity levels. That's what it indicates. Clear? Just give me yes in the chat box. Clear hai ye? I'll give you a practical case how this P value is calculated, how this chi-square is calculated as well. Okay. So let's understand this. Let me share with you a practical, another practical example. So we'll take two examples here. Then I will ask you where you can use as well. So let me just go back to my PowerPoint presentation here. And let me open the chi-square test. Okay, so here. Okay, now let's understand this. One of the scenario, just try to understand one of the scenario. We want to know if a shift has influence in number of customer complaints generated in the company. So there is a company, yeah, P value is more than 0.05. It means So that means there is no significant difference. See, if it is less, P low, null go, right? What is null? Null is equality, right? Null is no difference. Both are equal. Okay. If the P value is high, that means we cannot reject null hypothesis. We have to say that there is no difference. So the gender is not making any difference. If the P value would have been 0.02 or 0.01 or 0.04, whatever it is, then we have to say that the P low, null go. That means reject null hypothesis. So we have to reject the statement of equality and we have to accept that the gender is impacting the activity. Okay, so in this case, P value is 0.288. That means you cannot reject the null hypothesis. You have to accept null hypothesis, which means there is no impact on gender on the activity level. Okay. Now coming back to the scenario this second scenario, let's talk about. So there are 3 shifts. Now this you also guys can check out. Okay. 3 shift and number of customer complaints. You can say defects. Now there are multiple defects we have. So we want to compare, is the shift having any defect? Now there are A shift, B shift and C shift. 3 shifts operations are there. Now is the shift wise, is there any statistical significant difference? So is shift playing a role? Like in the first case, it was gender. In this case, it is a shift. Is shift playing a role in the defect? That is what we want to check. So in this case, shift is also discrete data. Defect is also discrete data. That's what we go for chi-square hypothesis test. Okay. So these people collected the data like this. Okay. This is a tabular data which shows shift here, first shift, second shift, and the night shift. And there are, there are 4 types of defects. They have A defect, B defect, C defect, and the D defect. I'll just try to understand how the chi-square is calculated manually. Okay. Just understand once and then we will do this with the help of Minitab directly. Okay. Now look at this. So first shift, A defect is 15. 15 number of defects have arrived. Shift A shift में B का defect है 21. C is 45 and D is 13. Similarly, second shift and the night shift defects have been calculated. Are you clear? Data is clear. Just give me yes in the chat box. Are you clear with the data? Just give me yes in the chat box. So shift in the column and A, B, C, D are the defects which are coming. Okay, there are 4 major defects they are arriving. Okay. Now you can compare with your own process. Okay. Now, then what is second step here? Second step here is to calculate the expected value. Now, from here onwards, it becomes a little tricky, a little complicated, but manually we don't have to do it. हम लोग इसको manually calculate नहीं करते हैं. All right. Now, just for your understanding, what is expected value? The formula for expected value is row total into column total divided by grand total. So what is row total? Just try to understand this. Row total is nothing but, you can see this row, shift number 1 ka row. So 15 plus 21 plus 45 plus 13, if I add this up, becomes 94, and this is called a row total. And what is column total? If I see this column A, so if I add 15 plus 26 plus 33 becomes 74, that becomes the column total. And what is grand total? Grand total meaning all the row totals and all the column totals together become the grand total, which is 309. Are you clear? Row total, column total, and the grand total. Just give me yes in the chat box. Very simple. And this is also available in your black belt curriculum example. I'm just giving you this explanation. Just for once, you understand this once. Need not to remember how to calculate everything. Software is calculating for us. यहाँ तक clear है? Row total, column total, and the grand total. Just once we'll understand this. Just give me yes in the chat box. Everybody. Anybody not understood, please let me know. वेरी सिंपल है ना. रो इज हॉरिजॉन्टल ऐड करना है, कॉलम के लिए वर्टिकल ऐड करना है, राइट? वेरी गुड. व्हाट इज एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यू? लेट्स कैलकुलेट एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यू फॉर दिस. फॉर दिस फर्स्ट वैल्यू 15 के लिए हम लोग एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यू कैलकुलेट करेंगे. So here, let's calculate it for this 15. So what is the row total of this value? Row total is 94. I'll use this one. Okay. So 94. So everybody please row to column or row and column, which column to be taken? See, row is this. Row is this, no? 1, 2, and 3. These are 3 rows. And we have columns A, B, C, and D. These are 4 columns. Clear? Total meaning, if you see row total and column total, it should tally. Anything would you do, row total and column total should tally to this grand total. Simple logic hai. Here, everybody with me? Just give me yes in the chat box. Super. Everybody pull out your calci and do this row total 94 into column total, which is 74, right? तो सबको हटा देता हूं मैं. Okay, so row total is 94 into column total is 70. So I'm talking about this 15. The first one, first count is 15, right? So row total is 94, column total is 74, divided by grand total is 309. What is the value? Tell me the value in the chat quickly. Everybody give me the value. 94 into 74 divided by 309. 22.51. Everybody got the same value? Yes. So for 15 is the actual value and 22.51 is a expected value. We have just calculated expected value for this. Clear? Now, let me show you a table where all the expected values. So you can see here 22.51. Okay, आपका answer बराबर है. Now, just check here. So similarly, the software calculates. So for 15, the expected value was 22.51. For this value, the expected value is this. For this value, the expected value is this. So they calculate for each and every expected value. Clear hai? Are you clear with this? Just give me yes in the chat box. So software calculates the observed value and expected value in the table. Done? Now, then the chi-square formula is used. What is the chi-square formula? The chi-square formula is this. Observed value minus expected raised to square divided by expected. Observed minus expected square divided by expected. And सबका summation करना है, that is called chi-square. Okay. So obviously we don't have time and you need not to do it because we have the software. For example, look at this. Just observe the first one so that you will understand. Okay. So chi-square is, let's just observe this, which we have calculated. Actual observed value was 15, expected value was 22.51. Okay, so observed minus this raised to square divided by expected value. Similarly, observed minus expected divided by expected, the square. Okay, and this goes. If you do the summation of this, you will get this value called chi-square, which is 19.18. Now we have a chi-square table. Okay, chi-square table hota hai. So we check this value. Okay, we take this value and we go to chi-square table to find out the p-value. This is how the p-value is calculated manually. Are you clear with this? Just give me yes in the chat box. Everybody with me? Yahan tak? Yes. What is that? Formula given in the previous slide. Yes, you can definitely. You can see here. Chi-square is summation of observed minus expected square divided by expected. Okay. Now, we will do this practically. एक बार करके देखते हैं. Just check this file. check this file of chi-square test. मैं एक फाइल दे रहा हूं आपको. Just open this file. Now we will do this chi-square test का ये एग्जाम्पल को करेंगे. Once open this file, just let me know in the chat. The same procedure we will follow. The same procedure will follow, whatever procedure we have done. Okay. Once you open the file, let me know in the chat, file open, so that we will proceed further. So here, they have both these types of data they have selected. One is, column 1 and column 2 wala data. Okay. So shift 1 and the type of defect, shift 2, shift 3. So they have, shift wise, they have collected the data. And on the right hand side, if you see, they have tabulated the data as well. Okay, so tabulation bhi kiya hai unhone, and they have just taken the shift 1, shift 2 and type of defect as well. Okay, file open. Everybody with me till now? So we will just do the same thing. Go to stat, tables, cross tabulation, chi-square. I'll wait. Just open this file and follow the same procedure. जो हम लोग ने अभी किया था ना, same procedure follow करना है. So here, what is the null hypothesis? Null hypothesis says the shift making no difference and alternate hypothesis says shift making difference in the defect. Now we will check the p-value of it and we will conclude about it. Okay. मैं फिर से एक बार फाइल शेयर कर रहा हूं. This is the chi-square test. This file is also available in your black belt curriculum. Okay, इसमें available है ये. Okay, once you do that, then you go to stat, stat tables, cross tabulation in chi-square. Just select that. Let me remove this. And in the rows, select the shift number. In the rows, select the shift number. In the column, select the types of defect. रोज में आपको सिलेक्ट करना है शिफ्ट नंबर. तो कॉलम नंबर C1 को सिलेक्ट करना है. C1 रोज में सिलेक्ट करना है. कॉलम में C2 सिलेक्ट करना है. ओके. देन अगेन गो टू chi-square. chi-square टैब को क्लिक करना है. जस्ट चेक दिस chi-square टेस्ट. एक्सपेक्टेड सेल काउंट. ओके. And click on OK and click on OK. Wow, look at it. So Pearson's chi-square test, which says 0.003. So how do we conclude? 0.003.
We reject the null.
Exactly. So what is the null hypothesis? The null was the shift is not making any difference. Okay. And the alternative shift is making the difference. So we have to accept the alternate, which means the shift is making a difference. Now, if you observe here, you can just see the table. Okay. Shift A, defect A, defect B, defect C, and defect D. If you really observe this, it was the 15, which was actual value, and 22.51, it is expected value, right? So they have calculated this. Okay, 21 is the actual value, 20.99 is the expected value. So now if you observe, just observe this, you can see some difference here. So shift 1, total defects are 94. Shift 2, total defects are 93. But shift 3, can you see the total defects are 122? So it is indication that there is a difference, statistical difference, but which shift is creating a difference? Type in the chat box, everybody. Which shift is showing the difference over here? If you observe this very closely. Very good. So shift 3 is something which can be a night shift. So now we need to focus on the night shift operations, because in the night shift it's observed that the defects are coming higher than the previous 2 shifts. Okay, this way you can compare the chi-square test when you have the discrete data. Okay, so we have seen 2 examples where chi-square tests are used. Okay, so this is the test of proportions when we are using this. Okay, the rejections or proportion to the defects, etc. shift wise, then we can use the chi-square where x and y both are discrete in nature. Clear? Everybody got this p-value 0.003? Just give me yes in the chat box. Clear? Chi-square test clear hai? Just give me yes. Super. So, any question if you have, please let me know in the chat, or you can just unmute yourself and ask as well. Yeah, rather than asking directly, you can just raise your hand and ask the question. That will be better. Then we can go one by one. Or else you can just type any question if you have in the chat. Okay, the people having any kind of challenge in Minitab, just send the message to our mentor's number, and we will give you a specific, whatever specific personalized solution to your challenge. Okay, कुछ लोगों का challenge होता है, उनका software, उनको laptop support नहीं करता है. Okay, maybe the operating system support नहीं करती है. So there are multiple options we have. So we can give you those options, and you can come out with the solutions. Okay. Yes, any question if you have, please let me know. If no, then fantastic. We'll close this. Yeah, we'll get the recording. Absolutely, yes, Maheshji. This is being recorded, and the recording will be available in Masterclass Archive. Okay, Masterclass Archive folder with the name of the topic and the date of the topic. Okay, so in your LMS, you have Masterclass Archive. You just click on that, scroll it at the bottom. Okay, so latest है जो bottom में रहेंगे, so you can check out that. Okay, means chi-square test is P-low. We have to accept. See, P-low, null go, irrespective of whichever test you are doing. P-low, null go is what you can say. P-low, null go is a standard rhyme. Whichever test, 1 sample t-test, 2 sample t-test, ANOVA, chi-square test, F-ratio test. Okay, whichever test you are doing, P-low null go remains common. Okay, so whenever the p-value is lower than the significance level, which is 0.05, which is 5% basically. If it is less than 0.05, then we reject null hypothesis. If it is greater than 0.05, then we do not reject hypothesis, we accept the null hypothesis. That's it. Very simple. Okay. Yeah, DF stands for degree of freedom. Degree of freedom meaning it is basically n-1. A is equal to number of data points, and what you can say, n-1 is equal to number of data points minus 1. For example, let's say, what is degree of freedom? Just for a very basic understanding, I want to distribute, let's say, there are 3 people, and I want to distribute 10 rupees among these 3 people. Okay, just to give you a simple example. So the first person, let's say I give 3 rupees, because that's I have a freedom to choose. Okay, so second person I give 4 rupees because I have freedom to choose. So I have given 3 rupees to first person, 4 rupees to second person. Now I have already I'm only left with 3 rupees, right, in my pocket. So I have to give only 3 rupees to the last person, because my freedom choice has gone. Okay, so I had a degree of freedom to choice in first. I had degree of freedom to choice in second, but I did not have any choice in the third. That's why my degree of freedom is n. N is equal to number 3 because 3 people were there. So n-1. So I had 2 choices. Okay, that's called degree of freedom. So, are we getting Minitab subscription solution center? No. See, what is happening is Minitab, why we are able to give you the Minitab. Earlier, Minitab used to have a perpetual license. Okay. Now they have shifted because, you know, because of the business decision, they have stopped giving the perpetual license. We had that perpetual. So our license is the last perpetual license given. Okay. Meaning that Minitab 17 wala license. After that, all the licensed copies are yearly. So if you go to Minitab, then you have to subscribe the yearly subscription for that. Okay. So we have the multi-user, license. So we distribute that to you guys as well. Okay. So that's why we don't have the Minitab solution, but wherever you get stuck, please let us know. Okay. We'll support you. Super, guys. Amazing. So see, tomorrow we have the yellow belt session, and we have the if you want to refer somebody, okay, you will please send them to the so we'll share with you the it's 9:30. It's a standard time, 9:30 a.m. and you will get the link right now in your WhatsApp, as well as you can check the link in community in LMS system. There is a community tab. Everybody, please check LMS system community tab. In short while from now, you will receive let me check with Tim. Tim, have you shared the messages? Okay, now you will get the session. Okay, in the community section also, just check out with all the details of the live sessions, hackathons, yellow belt sessions. Okay, all the details you will get in the community section as well. So if you don't receive any email or you don't receive any WhatsApp, just go to community section, just click on the link and you can enter into the session directly. Okay. Which section do I find this chapter in the course? So this chi-square test you will find in the black belt level, Praveen. Okay. It's a little advanced topic. Hypothesis testing is already there in the green belt level. So in the green belt, the basics of hypothesis and the one sample t-test, two sample tests are covered. But the advanced hypothesis testing are available in the black belt level. Okay. Yeah, you can go to black belt level and just select search chi-square. You will find the chi-square test chapter 1. Okay. Super. I think I have answered to all the questions. You will find all the details. Refer your friends and get 40% referral bonus. Okay. Send a message. Sadananji, you can just send a message to the WhatsApp number of the mentor, and we will arrange the green belt exam for you. Okay. Super. All right. Thank you very much for joining in. We will connect again on Monday with a new topic with the same.